Copying the next person doesn't work because the next person already exists. They are already filling that gap. You got to figure out what gap that you fill. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dominique Davis, also known as Brown and Bindi. And here on this channel, we practice flexibility of the mind, the body, and the spirit. We are here for another Social Media Monday, and I am just so excited to share all of my tips with you from my former life as a social media consultant. What do we want to talk about next? If you have not yet already, please make sure that you are subscribed and that you click the notification bell so that you can be around for when I make new uploads. Also, if you would like to join our community on a more intimate level, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and request to join the Facebook group. The URL will be at the bottom of the screen over here. And if typing it in is not your jam, it'll also be in the description box. Whatever you want to do, boo, I'm here for you. Okay, let's get into the video. How to start a social media account in 2021. This video is for people who are looking to launch their social media in 2021, as well as people who haven't quite found their footing yet and may want to rebrand and reestablish themselves as we enter the new year. First things first, you got to choose your platform. There are so many social media platforms out there, and I'm going to really only talk about YouTube and Instagram because those are the two platforms that I specialize in. That being said, YouTube and Instagram are not the only platforms that exist. There is Twitter, LinkedIn, as well as Snapchat, TikTok, and loads of others. So if you feel like you are more attracted to these other social media brands, watch this video and then go find videos that specialize in those brands. But right now, I'm just going to take some time to talk about Instagram and YouTube. As we talked about in our last social media video, one of the most important things that we want to make sure that we are doing is that we know how we are giving value. When you are searching for a social platform to launch, or when you're searching for a social platform to launch your account off of, to launch your own platform off of, you want to have a very good understanding on how you intend to give value through that platform. Do not pick a platform simply because you see that there are a lot of users and you think that that's automatically going to be a lot of traffic. Instead, understand yourself as a person to know the types of content that you can see yourself sustainably making so that you can give value through content that you actually like making. A lot of people force themselves to do Instagram, but they hate taking pictures. They hate taking pictures of themselves. They hate taking pictures of other things. They oftentimes find the platform shallow, but they force themselves to use that platform because they think that that's the only option. Now, that being said, I do not think Instagram is shallow. We're going to get into it in a second, but I feel like that's a lot of opinions people have from the outside looking in. So have a good understanding of the types of content that you want to make before you choose a platform. YouTube is my favorite platform. YouTube is also the most poppin' platform on the internet. It is connected to Google, and another reason why I love YouTube is because there is a direct value exchange. If you really grind, if you really work on your YouTube, then you can become linked up with AdSense. So when you come out with videos, you can get paid from AdSense. This is the only platform that is working with Google AdSense right now. When you consider all the other platforms, the only way that you can make money is by doing sponsorships or using your other platforms to gain traffic to external websites, your external business. But YouTube, you can make a decent living through AdSense. Now, that takes time, that takes work. It's not overnight, but that's something that I just really appreciate about YouTube is that it's passive income, and that is something that is really important to me. So YouTube is my favorite platform. All this to say, I went to school for theater. I'm very big on storytelling. I love storytelling. So even though AdSense is a factor in YouTube, I often gravitate towards YouTube because I can make videos, as in there is audio, there is video, there is text in the description box. I can really tell a full, well-rounded story in 12 to 15 minutes, which is my jam. So that is why I gravitate towards YouTube the most. YouTube will be for you if you are looking to create videos, if you are attracted to the idea of filming videos and editing videos. Those two main things. A lot of people only look at the end game of YouTube. They see the video, they watch the video, and they think, oh, this isn't hard. But when you start to edit your first video, you'll start to digest the actual effort that YouTube and any type of content creation really takes. So if you are attracted to the idea of creating videos, then YouTube is for you. There are so many different types of videos that you can make. I specialize in lifestyle videos, not for myself, but for my clients. I specialize in lifestyle videos, and I also specialize in informational videos. So if you want to showcase yourself in a way where you share your life with others to inspire others to have a better understanding of how to approach their fashion, how to approach cooking, how to approach relationships, that all falls into lifestyle. And then we get to informational videos where it's more, and that's the types of videos that I chose to make here on Brown and Bendy, Law of Attraction informational videos. Or this video right here, right? Where I'm just talking, where I'm just giving information. Informational videos will be more so directly giving value, giving information, and not a lot of the other bells and whistles. Now, YouTube is a vast platform. You will see tons of different types of content, and I love all of it. I love consuming all of it. But it's very important to know at the beginning what type of content you want to make so that you don't get sucked into looking at the content of others and telling yourself, that's what I need to do. You will only pop off on any social media platform if you stay true to you and if you stay true to your vision. Copying the next person doesn't work because the next person already exists. They are already filling that gap. You got to figure out what gap that you fill. So anyway, YouTube. Now, Instagram. I approach Instagram a little bit differently. A lot of people use Instagram to showcase, right? Because it's pretty much a digital portfolio. When you go to somebody's feed, you're able to look through what they do and digest a good understanding of what you think about that person's feed in like 10 seconds, right? So that's the top layer. So aesthetic is very important, because we want to make sure that the people who are coming to our page have a good vibe in that first 10 to 30 seconds. Aesthetic is important. But what's really important about Instagram is understanding, again, what story you want to tell. Much like YouTube, Instagram is a great place to focus on lifestyle as well as informational content. The only difference is on Instagram, aesthetic is far more important because it is visual. I get off on aesthetic. Okay, I love color palettes. I love creating synchronicity visually. Okay, I love, love, love aesthetic. If that is overwhelming to you, Instagram may not be for you. We have to understand that watching this video and pursuing social media, we are not out here trying to do the bare minimum, okay? We are out here trying to figure out what's best for us so that we can pour ourselves into whichever platform that we choose. Going back to Instagram, one thing that I really love about Instagram and what I feel really created a strong foundation for my brand was that I used Instagram as a blog. I would upload aesthetically pleasing pictures of me doing yoga asanas, and in the captions, I would use all of those characters to tell a short, simple story. This is something I still do occasionally, not as much as I did in the beginning, where every post had at least 500 characters. So one amazing thing about Instagram is that you can show aesthetic. You can show a visual of your life, but you can also approach a demographic that really likes to read. You know, when I started to do blog posts on Instagram, I was shocked absolutely shocked at how many people were actually reading my captions, connecting with me, and following me based off of the information I was giving in my captions. Because I wasn't giving like, buy my shirt here, buy my shoes here. Like, no, I was telling stories about my life. I was telling stories about my week. I was telling stories about lessons that I've learned. And that helped me establish my brand as a brand that is genuine and that is vulnerable. Talked about vulnerability before too. So that's something I really love about Instagram as well. YouTube, you can communicate, and that's awesome. But when a person reads something, they're really able to digest what that text means to them without the pressure of a person's face and tone of voice telling them what to think. So YouTube and Instagram are two really strong platforms that both have very different pros. So yeah, if you want more content on me breaking down the difference between Instagram and YouTube, happy to make it. Just let me know. The next step to starting a successful social media in 2021 is being COVID aware. I do not have any social media clients right now. I do not plan on taking on any more social media clients. But if I did, the number one thing I would tell them is to be COVID aware, okay? COVID's not going anywhere, and even if it does, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So we want to make sure that our content, what we give, has an air of reality to it. What I notice a lot of brands doing are just trying to push through this time to get to the other side. And that's one approach. I'm not going to knock it because I haven't tried it, so live your life. But from my perspective, I feel like the whole point of social media is connecting with people. And right now, it's impossible to connect with the majority of anyone in this world without being aware of the reality of our shared experience. So when I say be COVID aware, this does not mean that your content is centered around COVID. For today's video, the example that I'm going to use is that of a bartender. Let's say that you are a bartender and you are resorting to social media to revamp your brand because you haven't been in the bar, you haven't been at the club, you know? So you're using social media to figure out a way to connect to a demographic so that you can continue to grow your brand even though outside is kind of unreliable right now. If I had a bartender as a client, the number one thing that I would tell them to do is to create content that allows people to feel like they can have whatever experience that that bartender wants to give. Show people how to do that at home. Not simply because of COVID, but it is COVID relevant. So if a bartender were to create content that details how to mix at home, how to throw parties at home, and of course we're not talking about big parties, we're talking about small gatherings, right? We're being aware, but how to throw small gatherings at home, how to create an environment where people feel laid back enough to truly enjoy themselves at home, whether it's 3 or 4 people. If a bartender were to make videos explaining to people how to create atmosphere, how to make fun drinks, how to, for lack of better words, get that party energy in the living room, how valuable would that be? Also, that would be valuable content separate from COVID, but it's just as valuable here within COVID. So make sure that the types of content that you begin to curate can be realistically lived out and add value in these times. It doesn't have to center around COVID to be valuable during this time. The third way to start a successful social media account in 2021 is know your audience. Okay, so let's say that you are starting from 0. 0 to 1,000 goes very quick. I know for a lot of people it feels like it takes forever, but if it even takes a year, that's only a year for a brand that is going to grow until you decide that you want to shut it down, okay? So your first 0 to 1,000 goes very, very quickly. Now, one important thing that I want to say about this time is that you will never, ever, ever have an opportunity to know your supporters, to know your community as intimately as you do when you have 1 to 1,000 followers. You will never have that opportunity again. I remember when I only had like 3,000 YouTube subscribers, and when I would go live, like, yes, I was terrified because social anxiety, and it was like a lot bigger of a deal to me at the time. But the people who would show up to my lives, I would have like 11 people in my live streams, and I knew all of their names. I knew where they were all from, and the conversations were so chill. And I really felt like I had friends in all of these different places. The same goes for Instagram. Whenever I would post, when someone would respond to my post and I only had like 400 followers, the conversations that I had were person to person. There was no hidden agenda. Not that I have a hidden agenda now, but I feel like I don't feel like I can reach out to people now because they assume that it's a fake message or that I'm trying to sell them something or random stuff. So I don't really even DM people as much anymore because of my follower count. I feel like that expectation is so high. So really, 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 please enjoy every second of having less than 1,000 followers, because this is the only time that you will get to know your community as humans, not as numbers. I know I keep correcting myself in this video, but I want to make sure that I'm being clear. I do not see my community as numbers. But when we talk about brain capacity and what we're actually able to process, when we get above 1,000 followers, 1,000 subscribers, it's going to become a lot harder to remember names. It's going to become a lot harder to remember where people are from. And that's just fact. Our brain can only remember so much. So there's a true value in that coziness and that intimacy that comes with not having blown up yet. It's truly wonderful. So if you are in a place where you feel like you don't have enough followers yet, you don't have enough engagement, I strongly urge you to reassess the situation and ask yourself, who do I know in my follower group? Who do I know that subscribe to me? Even if you have 30 subscribers and 30 followers, who do you know that you don't already know in real life? Have you done the work to go to people's pages, to go to if you're a YouTuber, have you done the work to check out other people's YouTubes and to comment and to share their platform with them so that you can share your own platform with them? Social media is social. It is. You cannot expect to just be worshipped. You have to put yourself out there, and you have to open your heart and hold space for others. And not in a superficial way, not in a I'm only doing this so you follow me type way, but no, this is your community. And if you intend, oh my God, if you intend to do sponsorships, if that is your intention, if you are intending to get into social media to make money and you intend to do sponsorships, the least you can do at the very beginning is make sure that you are connecting to people genuinely. Do not start a social media account with the intention to just do sponsorships and to not become friends with anyone, to not form relationships with anyone, because no career works that way. Social media or anything outside of the virtual world, no career works in a way where you cannot make relationships and still succeed. You cannot do this by yourself. And in the same breath, I would also like to say, make sure that you are giving genuine follow backs. A lot of people are so scared of following back because of social trust. Social trust is when someone goes to your page and they look at your comments and they look at your follower count, whether they truly believe that you are giving the value that you say you're giving. And a lot of people judge this by how many people are following you versus how many people you are following. So because of that, a lot of people are so scared to follow back. I never, ever, ever cared. Ever. I follow back if someone's page is giving me genuine value. Period. That's it. Don't care if they're following me. Don't care about any of that. If their page is giving me value and is aesthetically pleasing, and I can tell that there is an energy in the page that has been nurtured, I'm going to follow back because I care about things and I want to see that on my feed. So if you are growing your social media and you start to see a lot of people following you, go ahead and check those pages out. Interact with those people. And if you're picking up what they're putting down, go ahead and follow them. It's okay, but make sure it's a genuine follow. No hidden agenda. Follow them if their page lives up to something that you would want to see on your feed every day. This way, your mutual follows turn into real relationships, real relationships, not virtual ones. Two people who have really cool content have found each other and now chat every once in a while. Nothing cooler. So don't be afraid to follow back, please. Last but not least, how to start a successful social media in 2021. You have to create a content schedule. You gotta, Shadi, you gotta. Okay, so a lot of people think that being a content creator and creating content for YouTube and Instagram, they only think about the end game. They only think about posting and comments and likes falling in, posting and subscribers coming in. That's the only part that they think about. But there is a whole production. Social media is a whole production, okay? And you'll never escape it. You cannot escape it. You can try to just like take random selfies and upload them on random days and like make your captions right at the time, and you can try, but that is the number one way to get burnt out. It's not going to be me. So when you're creating a production schedule, the first thing that you do is lay out your week. Where do you have free time in your week? Separate from social media. Just look at your week and what is realistic. That's what you look at. After you do that, you create your content planning days. The days where you plan, you sit down and you look at a calendar and you say, I want to come out with this video on this day next week. I used to only do this a week in advance, but very recently I've started to do this a month in advance, and Lord, it just feels so good. It feels so good. So, but I recommend a week in advance at the very least. So your content planning days are the days where you sit down, you look at where you want to release content within the month, and then you plan that content. So if it's a YouTube video, you plan when you're going to film, what you're going to film about, what room in your house has the best lighting, who is this video for? Breaking all of that down during the planning process, right? So that's your planning day. Next, you have your actual production day. So we've already planned when we want to come out with this content, when we want to publish this content. Then we have to figure out when we want to make this content. We can only know when we want to make the content if we know when we want to come out with the content. So that's why we have the planning day first, where we figure out when we want to publish. And then we have the production day, when we create the actual content before publishing the content. And on these days, you just want to make sure that if you're filming in your house, is your house going to be empty? If you're filming outside, what's the weather going to be like? These are the days when you plan your actual production. What equipment are you going to use? Do you need anything? Plan your outfits. Plan how you are going to go about this production. And then last but not least, your publishing schedule. Your publishing schedule is really made when you do your content planning day, but publishing just comes last because that's you going through the whole process and then looking at the list of days where you say you're going to come out with content and making sure that that just works within your schedule, making sure that you didn't miss any important dates that could, interfere with you releasing content. Whew. I love these videos so much. They feel really good to make. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up so other people on YouTube know that it is valuable and that they should watch it. If you would like me to expand on anything that I talked about in today's video, please let me know down below and I'll be happy to talk about it in a future video. Last but not least, please make sure that you're subscribed and that you click the notification bell so that you can be a part of the Bendy Bunch. I love you so much. And I will see you next video. Bye.